If you have an interest in your Scottish heritage or you want to learn more about the Highland culture, Derek Long invites you along with him on a trip to the Tartans Museum in Franklin.
Here in western North Carolina, in the town of Franklin, the strains of the bagpipes led me to the Scottish Tartans Museum.
Our museum tells the story of the traditions surrounding Highland dress. Visitors to the museum are first greeted with the scene of an old weaving cottage where they can actually see tartan on the loom as it was woven traditionally by hand. And then they step back in time and you see how Scottish clothing in the Highlands has evolved over the past 1,000 years into the kilt as we know it today. The earliest form of the kilt was called the féileamór, which is a Gaelic word that literally means large wrap. In the early part of the 1700s, the lower part of that garment began to be worn separately, and that was referred to as the féile beg, which means small wrap. The next stage in the kilt's development came at the end of the 1700s, and that's when the pleats were actually stitched permanently in place from the waist to the hips, which created the first modern tailored kilt.
On display at the museum, you'll find a tartan sample dating back to 1725. Also, there are two original kilts, the Malcolm and Macduff tartans. But just what is a tartan?
The tartan is defined not only by the pattern in the cloth, but also the colors in the cloth. And there's no set scale. Some tartans are very, very simple. For instance, the Rob Roy McGregor tartan is just alternating stripes of red and black of equal width, and that's all. Then the most complex tartan that has been designed to date is the Ogilvy of Airlie tartan. And that tartan has something on the order of 76 different changes before the pattern repeats itself again. If you were to go back 200 years, or around the turn of the 19th century, back when tartans first began to acquire their association with families and clans, there were maybe about 100 tartans that had names.
Since then, the number of tartans has grown as not only clans developed their tartans, but families, cities, districts, provinces, individuals, and even businesses. The royal family has a tartan, the Balmoral tartan designed by Prince Albert in the 1800s. And in the U.S., some 30 states have their own tartans, including North Carolina and the town of Franklin.
The museum is described as a stroll through the culture and history of Scotland, but you can also look up your family tartan and discover your Scottish heritage.
The online database at the museum allows you to examine the more than 4,000 registered tartans existing today. The gift shop has all things Scottish, including everything you'll need to complete your Highland wardrobe.
The basic garment is, of course, the kilt, which most people recognize as that plaid skirt that Scottish men wear. And that's typically in a tartan that represents some part of the wearer's heritage.
To complete your basic outfit, you'll need a belt and a sporran.
Sporran is a Gaelic word for a pouch or a purse, and that's the leather bag that's worn in front of the kilt.
You'll need some knee-high kilt hose, we call them socks, and perhaps a skene-dhu or a small dagger. You can also add kilt pins, hats, and other accessories, but
I usually advise people start small and then add on from there.
The proud history of the Scots and their Highland attire awaits your visit here. And perhaps you'll get a better answer than I did to the age-old question,
what you do and don't wear under your kilt is nobody's business. Wear whatever you're comfortable with, or don't wear whatever you're comfortable with, but the only rule is you're never allowed to reveal the secret. You don't want to spoil the mystery.
On that note, this is Derek Long for North Carolina Weekend.
The Scottish Tartans Museum is located at 86 East Main Street in Franklin and is open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, call 828-524-7472. And this weekend, Franklin hosts the annual Taste of Scotland Festival, a fun-filled weekend of Scottish culture, dance, food, music, fashion, and more for the whole family to enjoy. For more information, contact them online, tasteofscotlandfestival.org.